Nick Rutter for the McKee's 37 Trademark Garage. While the McKee's 37 name might be synonymous with products like Hydro Blue and Foaming Wheel Cleaner Gel, High Intensity APC, just to name a few, we're also manufacturing products outside of chemicals, and that includes our brand new line of Redline Foam Buffing Pads. Now this system consists of 3 different sizes, along with 4 colors for each respective size. Like other pad systems, each color represents a different level of cut, all the way from heavy swirl removal, all the way to ultra-fine finishing and everything in between. And you might be wondering, what makes our pads different? There's so many foam pads in the market. Well, first and foremost, they're made in the USA with pride. They're supporting this economy as they should. Second, our pads are oversized by a 1/4 inch respectively for each size. Now the industry norm is 3.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5 respectively inches. With ours, instead of having a 3.5 inch pad, we have a 3.75 inch pad. So each pad is oversized by a 1/4 inch. And that's because cars and trucks are getting bigger than ever. A Ford F-150 is 30 or 40% larger in 2019 than it was 10 years ago. A Honda Accord is now considered a full-size vehicle when 10 years ago it was a mid-size or even a large compact. So cars are just getting bigger. Panels are getting bigger. So the extra 1/4 inch makes a big difference in the diameter of the pad. Next, each pad features this center vent, which is part of the ACT Advanced Cooling Technology. And what this does is this helps ensure a longer pad life by having air circulate through the pad. This means the pad runs cooler, it's not going to cave in on the center, and it's going to deliver more consistent results as you detail your vehicle. And the next thing you'll notice is the beveled edge. So this is an industry exclusive 35-degree beveled edge. This pad, for example, the face of it is 6.75 inches, but the backing material, thanks to the beveled edge design, is 6 inches. That way, you would use a 6-inch backing plate or a 5.5-inch backing plate with this pad. And this beveled edge, what it does is it provides superior control. It's going to help reduce any buffer hop because your pad is going to stay flat. And then going down the line, again, we have 3.75, 5.75, and 6.75 inches. The most aggressive to the least aggressive, there's the yellow. This open cell foam is very sharp. This is designed to remove heavy swirls and heavy scratches. When you rub your hand across it, again, it's very sharp and coarse. This will remove imperfections, therefore improving the gloss and clarity. You would pair this with our FC717 Swirl remover, or in our marine and RV line, our heavy cut oxidation remover, or the heavy cut cleaner wax. Next up is the orange. This is a heavy polishing pad. Again, it's open cell. This pad runs very cool. It's going to remove defects, and it's not going to scour or haze the finish. You could pair this with our swirl remover, just like this pad, for a little less cut. Makes a great one-step, or a fast polish. In the marine line, the one-step polish and sealant, or again, the heavy cut cleaner wax. And then my favorite pad in the line is the white all-in-one foam pad. This is the only pad in the line that features a closed cell design. And the reason we did that is because during our research and development, we discovered that most cleaner waxes and all-in-ones, well, they deliver a better finish when paired with a closed cell pad. This pad is soft, but it still offers the mechanical cutting ability to remove light imperfections when paired with something like our 360 one-step, or in the marine and RV line, the one-step polish and sealant. You can also use this pad with the fast polish for softer paint systems. Last but certainly not least is the black foam finishing pad. This is soft enough to apply waxes and sealants, but it's firm enough that you can apply glazes and ultra-fine finishing polishes. This has 0 mechanical cutting ability. Use this on all paint systems with confidence. And last but not least, with the Redline Foam Pad Systems, we talked about the diameter of the pads. In terms of thickness, the Redline pads are 7/8 of an inch thick. So when buffing pads first came out, they were very thick, inch, inch and a half, inch and 3/4. And what happens is those heavy pads, they don't rotate efficiently on a dual action polisher. So a thin pad means there's less mass. It's going to rotate better, which will deliver better results. Let's go through each pad step by step with the appropriate McKee's 37 polish. You'll notice I have all my gear on the Carolina detailing cart. We developed this cart to make it easier than ever to detail your vehicle, including washing, drying, buffing, polishing, and everything in between. Mine has the optional cutout for the bucket, so when you're washing your car, you don't have to bend over. And when I'm polishing paint, I'll fill this with water and our polishing pad rejuvenator. That way I can stick my dirty pads right into the bucket. Optional accessories include a bottle holder. That way all your bottles stay organized. It fits our standard 8, 16, and 32 ounce bottles. It also works great to keep a cool refreshment nearby as well. The cart is 36 inches tall, which is the perfect height. It's the only cart on the market that is designed to be comfortable for people of all heights. Then the next shelf will hold more gear, and the bottom one is even taller yet. So this cart is thoughtfully assembled, made in the USA. It features heavy-duty, commercial-grade locking casters, and the weight capacity is over 300 pounds. This cart will provide years of service for detailing your vehicle, and if you're polishing paint, there's also an optional 15-foot CSA-approved power cord. That way you can plug it into the wall and hook up to 3 machines to the cart. Now, modern clear coat finishes are harder than ever. So while it's possible you can still achieve okay results working by hand, you really need to use a dual action polisher to remove swirl marks and scratches. Now, the Redline Foam Buffing Pad System, as I covered previously, 3 sizes and then 4 different levels of cut, each represented by a different color. So what I'm working on now is a frame-off restoration 1966 Ford Mustang, and the paint is actually aftermarket, so it's on the softer side. Now, most cars, like if you go buy a brand new Camaro or a Honda, when they paint it at the factory, the paint is baked on. It's very, very hard. An aftermarket paint job like this Mustang, done at a high-quality body shop, is going to be much softer. And what that means is a less aggressive foam pad. In a rule of thumb, whenever you're starting out anyway, you always want to use the least aggressive approach first. Paint is very thin. It's about as thick or as thin as a Post-it note. So always start with the least aggressive. Right off the bat, for swirl marks like this, I know the finishing pad's not going to cut it, pun intended. The next step will be the polishing pad. Now, in our line of polishes, we offer a variety of different choices depending on what you're looking for. With the most aggressive is our FC717 Swirl remover, and then our fast polish, and then last but not least is our jeweling wax. And we also offer finishing waxes, finishing sealants, and our trademark paste wax, along with the 360 one-step. The Redline foam pads have a Velcro hook and loop backing material, and what I'm using on this particular application is the Flex XC3401. This machine comes from the factory with a 5.5-inch backing plate. I always reach for Flex tools first because I've used them, I've abused them. Every time you plug them in and turn them on, they work great. They're made in Germany, very powerful, very smooth. And this polisher, the 3401, is what you call forced rotation. So the pad rotates and oscillates, but the difference is it's gear driven. You're not going to instill any swirl marks, and most importantly, the pad's always going to rotate. Because if that pad's not rotating, you're not removing defects. It's important that you take your pad and you make sure that it's properly centered for the smoothest operation. And these pads form a very tight grip against the Velcro. That way they don't fly off. The next step will be polishing the trunk of this Ford Mustang. I've got my Flex XC3401 equipped with a white all-in-one foam polishing pad. Like I mentioned previously, you want to use the least aggressive approach first because paint is thin. I'm going to pair this with our FC 717 swirl remover. And this particular polish, combined with the light cutting of the all-in-one pad, should give me exactly what I need to remove these defects. Now our polishes are very concentrated. A little bit goes a long way. It also makes them an outstanding value. I've got 4 pea-sized drops. I'm going to work on an area of about 18 by 18 inches. This tool allows you to work on a larger square footage than a free floating spindle bearing assembly machine because the forced rotation has a lot more power. You're going to spread it out on a lower speed. Speed is 1 through 6. I'm going to go to speed number 4 and perform about 6 section passes. I'm applying about 10 to 15 pounds of downward pressure, and I'm doing a slow arm speed. And one thing you'll notice about our swirl remover is that it has a long buffing cycle. It's not dusting, it's not drying up, it's not slinging product all over the place. It's very user-friendly. Immediately wipe off the residue using the McKee's 37 carbon 480 towel. The 480 GSM open weave design of the towel makes it very effective for wiping off polish. Break it open. Wow, the paint already looks fantastic just from that one step. Before you start polishing the entire vehicle, I know sometimes it can get really exciting to tackle it. You want to dial in your pad and your polish combo on a test spot. That way there's no surprises as you work around the vehicle. Now even though this looks pretty darn good, the next step is going to take it from an 8 to a 10. After using the swirl remover, since the paint looks so good, I can go right to the black foam finishing pad. This pad is going to further refine the surface while maximizing gloss. And since I'm going to use the jeweling wax, it'll deposit a finish worthy of this 1966 Ford Mustang. That was a frame-off restoration by Wayne Carini at F40 Motorsports in Connecticut. Mr. Carini is actually a partner at McKee's 37, and he uses our swirl remover, our polish, and our jeweling wax at his shop. After they wet sand, they cut and buff, or if a car just comes in and needs to get cleaned up. 4 dime-sized drops. Now since I'm not removing swirls and scratches, that step's already complete. I'm going to turn the speed down. I'm going to spread it out at 1 like I did before. And then I'm going to polish at speed 3 with about 5 pounds of downward pressure and a faster arm movement. What's especially nice about the Redline foam pads, we developed these so you can use these with a rotary polisher, a dual action polisher, whether it's a conventional like a Porter Cable 7424 or a forced rotation like the Flex 3401, a long throw like a Rupes 21 or a Flex XFE, or even a rotary polisher as well. And jeweling wax wipes off with virtually no effort. And again, it refines the surface, it's going to maximize the gloss, and it's going to take the finish from what looked good before after using the swirl remover to looking great now. So that's a very simple two-step system. Now if this were a modern vehicle that had a paint finish from the factory, more than likely to remove the swirl marks you would need either the yellow cutting pad or the orange heavy polishing pad. But this paint, again, it's soft because it's an aftermarket from a body shop. It's not baked on. And that's it. That's the Redline foam pad system. Have all your bases covered from swirl marks, oxidation, scratches, hazing, marring, water spots, and everything in between. I'm Nick Rutter for the McKee's 37 Trademark Garage.